Ask Jerry, the Chartered Vendor. This is a program meant for entrepreneurs and aspiring business people. And as always, I'm with Jerry Monya Zungu. Welcome, Jerry.
Hi, how are you?
I'm
I'm
good.
okay.
You're looking nice.
For a change,
For a change.
we're not formal.
Yeah, we're not formal. We
That's
don't always
okay.
have to be. We can represent the brand.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So catching up on the last episode that we did, we were talking about training people, Sales Institute,
Yes.
and catching up on that.
Mm.
Today I want to talk about education.
Yeah.
Yes, we have people who are going to universities, right? But the question is it necessary for us to be going to universities? We come back to going to the university, yes, but then those people, when you hire them, you have to train them again. Is it really necessary for us to be sending people to universities? Is it necessary for someone like me to go to the university? I finished my degree. Do I have to get a master's?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So I think it goes back to the background of how these degrees are being given, and you look even at the master's degrees. Previously, what I used to know in the 90s, early 2000, you wouldn't do a master's without experience. You wouldn't do a master's without your supervisor at work recommending you to be doing a master's. And if you look at other countries as well, because it's not only in Africa, it's no longer only in Zimbabwe, whereby education is now different. If you look back, you'd only access information in libraries or at school.
Okay.
So what did it mean? It meant that if right now, if I may ask you, I think you've got probably a small child, or you've got your niece, your uncle, a small kid, 2 years, 3 years, they can now operate a phone probably better than a 90s guy who is probably 35 or 40 years, or 30 or 20 or 25 years. The guy probably was born in 1995, 90s, thereabouts, 2000, thereabouts. They can have actually be beaten by a 2-year-old in terms of operating a phone. They now know, if I was looking at my kid, she knows that a red color represents you're supposed to be cutting the core. If it's a green, it's answering. Who told you? I don't know. So they are now educating themselves. She knows each and every color through cartoons. So the question is, the real question is education still found in schools alone, or in universities alone, in colleges alone, or education is not everywhere? Okay. When I did my primary, when I did my secondary, you would only access a book in a library.
Okay.
We had no phones. Some of us. I started having a phone, I think, in my 20s. I had no phone, no gadgets, no laptops, nothing. Internet, it was still scarce. Talking of 2005, 2006, thereabouts. Internet was something which you'd actually have to go into the cafe to access information. You look at way back, people would only need to get into the University of Zimbabwe, University of Zambia for them to access education. But right now, someone can easily educate themselves without getting into these institutes. If you want to learn marketing skills right now, dedicated, I want to be a marketer, I want to know marketing, I can easily do that without getting into a college, without getting into an university, because information is everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Data is now cheap. With coming in of Starlink, it's not even going to be much cheaper. So what is going to be, what does it mean for the education sector? Education has been monetized as well.
Yes, yes.
It's now all about chasing for money. Unfortunately, as the world is moving, technology is moving so fast, things are changing, information is now being accessed. We are now living in the world of AI. Us as Africans, we haven't shifted, or most of the people haven't shifted. Why am I saying they haven't shifted? They still value their certificates. We are still celebrating a degree. The way a guy in 1990 was going to, when a guy completes a degree in 1990, early 2000, when they would celebrate killing cattle, that was justified. Why? Because as soon as after finishing that degree, it was almost guaranteed that these people, they can live an average life. Not very rich, but average life. Because the one thing we're supposed to be telling people is there's a difference between access education and being successful in life. Even from way back, it has been always like that. What our educated uncles who are broke. But what I'm simply saying is things have changed. The guy in 1990, 1995, 2000, when they had a degree, it was almost a guarantee that they'll get a good job or they'll get a job. Right now, it's not even guaranteed with your master's or your doctorate that you're even going to get a job, not only in Zimbabwe, not only in Africa, but worldwide.
Yes.
Things have changed. So that's why I'm saying now, those celebrations, right now you risk that if you're going to celebrate, especially spending a lot of money on that graduation party, the chances are you never even recover.
That is true.
Sometimes you can even fail to recover the money which you've used to buy your gown and your cape nowadays. So the thing is, things have changed. And unfortunately also, I've interviewed a lot of employers. They've also, there's not a paradigm shift. Why have people also shifted, even the employers, the captains of the industry? They now know that sometimes I no longer have to hire people based on their degrees, based on their certificates. They now know that I can easily get into the street, get someone, ask them if they've got video editing skills. They can come and edit your videos without even getting any degree in media, because people can be self-taught nowadays. So in summation, that's what I can actually say, answering your question. Is still important getting into the universities? I don't know. But what I will simply say is there's not an alternative way of learning through YouTube, through Facebook. Right now, if you notice, even newspapers, TV, people used to lie to us. Newspapers used to lie and would believe. These days, you can easily verify those facts. If someone lies to you about the United States of America, you can narrow down it even on Google and see the buildings which are in New York, in Miami. We're not living in a borderless world. So the question is, I don't know whether getting into university is so it's too important. But what I would just tell you is my kids won't go there.
You raise a good point there. Is it really necessary? Because I remember when I was in high school, especially A level, we were like the arts class, the sciences, the commercials. But if you ask those students, go to any high school and ask them, after finishing your A level, what do you want to do?
No one knows.
They don't even know.
They don't even know what to
They don't
do.
even know. Most would say, I would know when I pass, because universities have these cutoffs for points. If you have 13 points, you can do this degree. If you have lesser points, you can do this degree. So now people, when they go to universities, they're just picking at random what they're given. You may go with 13 points. I know that when you have 13 points, you can no longer do medicine. When you have sciences, 13 points, they want at least 14, 15. So you now pick the alternative, and most probably these people, they wouldn't understand what they are going to be taught. So we have some of the degrees that people are doing in universities. When I wanted to apply at a local university, I was told, we'll give you Chinese. I was like, what am I supposed to do with Chinese?
Yeah, you look like a Chinese.
I asked them, what am I supposed to do with Chinese? And they promise you that, oh no, we'll actually help you. We know some Chinese people who want to hire. We'll get you into China. You can make a lot of money. But that's not my passion. I wanted media, but they're giving me Chinese. So are students being guided when they go to these universities to pick their degrees, or they just pick for the sake of having a degree?
Because what we're taught is, do you know what? When we grew up, our mothers and fathers, the generation which is still there, and part of the generation nowadays, they still value a degree so much. They still value a diploma or a, because at school, if you take it even from Robert Kiyosaki, it was go to school, get good grades, and you're going to be successful in life.
And for girls,
That
you get
card-
married when you have a certificate.
That card no longer works.
Yeah.
It's a lie. That's the biggest lie people are being sold. That's a dummy. To say if you go to school, it's a guaranteed success. No. Going to school is just a foundation. You're just going to be given the basics. But look at now what the education system is now doing. It's now separating these people to say, because you have got A's, hence you can do sciences. Who said someone with better grades who's got A's in probably someone with A's, or else they're in Form 2. So it means when they're now getting into Form 3, they're supposed to get into a science class. Who say they're going to be good in mathematics? Who say they're going to be good in physics? Who even say they want to be a doctor?
Yeah,
Eh?
that is true.
Who also said being a doctor, it's a guarantee to riches?
Yeah.
Being a medical doctor. Who say they want to be an engineer? What about if we allow our kids to do what they want? There's a guy who is failing down there with C's and D's, but they're passionate about, they want to get into a medical school.
Yes.
Why do you select them based on
grades?
On grades, and grades of 11 subjects or 10 subjects, 10 different subjects? You're saying because this guy is passing geography, he's got an A, hence he must get into the A class. What guarantee are we going to get that they're going to be a good doctor? We are giving a guy with an A in mathematics. How does mathematics and medicine link up? Huh? How? So what I'm simply saying is, why can't we start letting these kids do whatever they want to do? If they're passionate about media, leave them to do media. Don't force them into the arts class. Don't force them into the science class. Get them into the media class. If they want to be teachers, there are people who are passionate about teaching.
Yes, they
but
are.
But you find a teacher now is not a doctor. So there's a mismatch, and this mismatch is being caused by our society, which is still chasing the old shadow. Because we are still believing in the old way of doing things. The world, like what I said, the world is moving, accelerating every day. Elon Musk is coming with all these sorts of things, but we are still seated and saying, whatever we did in the 50s is going to work right now. That's a big lie. That's why you notice that right now, it's a chaos. People, there's what is being expected as a norm by the society, which is no longer normal these days. Hence, even if I'm going to change the way I interview people at M&J, people would write nonsense about what they're saying. But what I'm simply saying, I know where the world is going, but I know that, like what they say in Shona, like you see, what do you call puppies? Huh? Don't get their eyesight at the same day. Huh? It's different. The other one will get it today, the other one will get it tomorrow. They are going to get it in future to see that whatever people can have. Right now, you can no longer hire someone with 20 years experience of marketing.
That it doesn't work.
No, he might have 20 years of experience of marketing, but the world has shifted.
It has shifted.
It is now social
digital
media. It's got digital marketing. Does the 20-year-old guy, the guy with 20 years experience of putting out billboards
in newspapers,
can he actually work now in a tech company? That's the question. The world has shifted, but unfortunately, our society is still chasing for that world which is not existing.
I totally understand. We actually have to take a short ad break, and we'll continue on this subject of education and actually getting jobs.
The chartered vendor. Chartered, it simply means the experience which I got from the workplace and through formal education. Vendor, it simply means that I was once a vendor selling sweets, selling bananas on the streets. Combined, it makes the chartered vendor. Many people complain, they think that you need monetary capital to start a business. Contrary to that, I only started my business with only a laptop. If you want to know more about my story, grab your copy today.
Yes, you have built that business and it has grown, but do you know that you can make much more than you're making now? Imagine the demand for your product in your country. Do you know that there's a high chance that the same service is needed in other countries? M&J is here to assist you in setting up your business in Zimbabwe, Zambia, South Africa, Dubai, and Botswana. Maybe you're wondering why you should go to those other countries. Well, do you know that Zambia borders 8 other African countries, which means that you have access to a wider market than to what you might have now. Zimbabwe has many resources, including minerals and agricultural land. And there's no way you can escape South Africa because it is the largest economy in Africa. And you might benefit from the tax exemptions in Dubai. M&J is ready to help you set up your business in these markets and will be your partner to build a timeless business. Get in touch with us using the details showing on the screen, and we will be your partners for success. Welcome back to Ask Jerry, the Chartered Vendor. We're just discussing the relevance of having a degree in trying to find employment. On that subject, Jerry, we have over thousands and thousands of people graduating in universities. Let's say in Zimbabwe, in a year, we get more than 30,000 students graduating. And the companies we have, they're not changing. We still have those numbers of companies. Let's say we have a company like yours. You're working towards retaining the employees that you have. So if your company is retaining their employees, where are all those 30,000 of graduates going to go?
Yeah, thank you so much. So the issue now is also getting into the. I strongly believe that we've got a huge number of people unemployed. But when I started off, I noticed whilst I was consulting, I noticed that people had serious HR problems. I'm not an HR expert, but from what I actually noticed is most of the companies have got serious HR problems. And they're failing to get people who can actually fit into their system or into their organizations. So as I started now recruiting people, recruiting staff members on behalf of other companies, I started noticing that no, it's not even, yes, as much as we've got a huge unemployment rate, but the attitude of the people who are amongst the 30,000 is stinking, to say the least. Because jobs are there, but to find a fit, right now, go to any employer, they're actually saying, yes, I've started my business, but getting someone who can get into this business, matching my vision, push it to the next stage, those people are scarce. 1%. Probably of the 30,000, whatever you say, 30,000, if it's correct statistics, I think you're going to only get probably 500 to 1,000 who have got good attitude. People who are going to be willing to work. People who are willing to work to transform an organization to the next stage. So we've got most of the organization with 50 employees, but mostly probably 10 are only working. 40 are only there to accompany the 10 who are working. So what I'm simply saying is, yes, as much as people are graduating, it's good. Universities are there. Education can now be easily accessed. What I also want to say to the students who are graduating, whether if you graduate in your accounts, if you graduate in HR, if you graduate in marketing, graduating doesn't mean that you now know. It's just a foundation. You're just starting. You don't know anything. So you should be willing, have the attitude to learn, whether by self-learning or even by learning through mentors. Like at least if you've got a company whereby you're in a company where people who are there are more experienced, they've got more information than you. Take time to grasp all these concepts. Know what is being done. I think right now, at Image, like what we said, we had a videographer who came, whilst he didn't know even how to handle a camera, but he was in his third year doing what? Media, majoring in videography. And I don't know what they were doing. Probably they'll just read that a camera has got how many, I don't know. Probably they're reading about pixels and everything, but they couldn't even handle a camera. And the question, so you should be humble enough to say, as much as I have this paper coded, this paper coded degree, personally, I didn't attend my graduation. I didn't attend. Why didn't I attend the graduation? I didn't want to call myself, I didn't want to feel like I now know. That's why I wasn't even kept. I've never attended the graduation. I've graduated, but I've never attended one. Why? Because I feel that education is a continuous process. You continue learning every day. Every day it's a day when every day you've got something which you know, but you need to add knowledge. That's why it's very important. You can learn, and this world now has got a lot of material. So what I simply want to say to the 30,000 people who are graduating is, please forget about your certificate. It's never going to save you in this world where we're going. Forget about your degree. These are just the papers. There will only be degrees if you are able to implement what you have learned in school. That's why you notice that even the kids, soon after graduating, their ego is too high. They think that they can get a job anyway.
Yes.
After they have been disappointed, because probably at 23, 24, then you get into a university, you think I'm now armed with a degree, I now have a master's degree, hence I can get a job anywhere. But the world will humble you, especially if you're in Zimbabwe. Definitely you're going to be humbled. You can stay for 4 or 5 years without even being employed anyway. So you find that by the time now you now want to learn the basics, it's too late. You're 30-year-old. You're now a 30-year-old holder of a certificate without any experience, without any knowledge, because you're saying just because I've graduated. I've noticed, I've actually said don't hire recent graduates.
Yeah.
Because they've got too much ego. They think that they know everything. But I tell you, this world is moving fast, more than 1,000 kilometers per hour. It's moving like an aeroplane. So if you cannot catch up, if you're not fighting to catch up every day, if you're still saying, because I did mathematics, I did a degree last year, hence I know, you are failing yourself. That's why you notice that most of the people, I like how they've actually, whoever came up with the medical industry or even lawyers, they've called it law practice, medical practice.
Yes.
So these people, they know that they can never say, I know everything about law. Hence, you notice that the attitude of lawyers is better because they're always what? Researching. The attitude of doctors is good because they're always researching. The attitude of accountants is, I did a degree in 1990. So employ me today. I'm like, dude, do you know how to operate an ERP system? They don't know because an ERP is coming with, it's being improved each and every month. There are developers who are busy working with Pastel right now. There are developers who are busy working with Palladium. There are developers who are busy working with Odoo, changing everything. Every day they're changing everything. But you're saying, I know, because I want to use it last 20 years. Hence, you should employ me because I'm the most educated.
PhD and a master's.
I'll tell you, you can be a broke certificate holder.
That is true. That is true. But there are people who might actually argue with that in terms of saying, yes, we're degree holders, but in Zimbabwe, we're not getting the opportunities for jobs. So now there's a trend. There's a recent trend. If you notice, a lot of A-level students are now applying to outside universities now. I've heard that it's easy to get a place in Zambia. Some are applying in India, Australia, and others are even taking the route. If you notice, for the couple of, is it a year back? There was a trend of nurse aides. They're using that as a strategy to get jobs outside of Zimbabwe. Is that a thing that can actually work to say, we don't have opportunities here? Let's try going outside of Zim. You pass your A-level, you apply to India, you go to India, now you have access to other countries, not just African countries.
Yeah, but the question still remains the same. If you are educated, sorry for me to say this, if you're an educated fool, you remain a fool. Even if you go to India, if you don't know how to operate a camera, you don't know how to operate a camera, who is going to hire you? Because even if you've got a certificate, even if the certificate is made in heaven, so long as you cannot do the job, you're useless. So what I'm simply saying is, things are supposed to tally. If you're saying you're a linguist, you did a bachelor in English, if you stand there, people are supposed to say, or even if you write an email, people are supposed to say, this is a degreed what?
This is a degreed person.
This guy is degreed in English. But if you're breaking English like Jerry now, who is not degreed, who is now correcting a guy who is degreed, even if you study in India, even if you study in Australia, even if you're going to have, what I'm simply saying, even if you are going to hold a degree from Oxford, When you stand there, then people feel like, I think this guy, people start even doubting Oxford because of you. It simply means that there's something which is amiss. Go to Oxford and show us that, yes, for sure you went to what? To Oxford. So my opportunities are there, let me tell you, Abby. Even in this country, they are there. But the question, the problem, like what I said, people are coming from the university are not humble. They don't want to be cleaners. They don't want to start by just visiting. When they leave university, I don't know what you guys are lying to each other. They think that soon after finishing education, and soon after finishing my degree, let us not say finish education. Education can never be finished. Then they think that you're going to get an office with a swivel chair, with a big desk, with an aircon. And
you put your picture with your graduation cape.
Graduation cape. Forget about that. Huh? Yeah, those are cartoons. Don't forget about that. Reality is, when you leave university, be humble. Get under someone who can coach you how to do whatever profession you want to get into. Whether it's media, know how to handle a camera, know how to edit, know how to write a script, copywriting. Learn slowly how to operate even the gadgets in the studio, mics, cameras. Do you know how to do that? Be humble.
That is true.
Then if you learn now, even if you're going to go out of the country and look for other opportunities, armed with a certificate, you're not even dangerous because you've got the skill and they've got the certificate. What I'm simply saying is most of the people are simply holding certificates, but inside their head, there's nothing.
There's nothing, yeah.
So I'm saying things are supposed to be matching. A degree and a what? That's why you notice that even in countries like Zimbabwe, degrees like medicine are still up there. Why? Because mostly medical degrees, they spend time doing practicals. Wait until it's now theory. Many people are going to die. And our ethics are going to be thrown. And right now, I strongly believe that medical practice is also, the ethics are now being thrown out of the window. When you get into a 24-hour surgery these days, even if you just say, I've got a slight headache, they want to give you an injection. What for? Because they want to take your $100. You see, is it what they are being taught in the university? Because at the end of the day, the biggest problem is when you learn and say, I want to make money, I tell you, man will start running away from you. Don't equate your paper to money. Equate your skill to what? To money. If you come here and say, this is the young lady, she has recently graduated. She came to me because she was there on attachment. And she said, I wanted to do a certain task. She said to me, Jerry, you actually know my skills. You know what I can do. You know what I can give you. Then I said, you're right. I don't care about, you haven't even graduated right now, but I'll give you what you've asked for because you've justified. And I know that you can do that task. But getting into the field, getting into where these are the masters guys are now and try to fish someone out from there, it's going to be a disaster.
That is very correct. Okay. So also on that note, there are people now who I know who, okay, let's say when you start a business, right? Maybe you once did vending, you open your small little shop, everyone copies that. There was a trend, I think years back, I don't know, it was 2015, 2016, when everyone was now doing law. They heard that lawyers are getting money. Now everyone is doing law. But after a year, when those people graduated, they were now striking. We are not getting paid. We are not getting jobs because there was a number of people doing the same degree and they were now not getting those jobs because they were over the amount that was needed in the country.
And we now have a lot of law schools. I think UZ is offering law. There's what? I think Execo Guti is offering law. I think GZU also is now offering what? Law. So the question now is the quality. The quality. You are now, the thing is right now we're focusing on the quantity. Universities wants to bring out a lot of quantities.
A lot of quantity of graduates.
Because remember, the biggest lie which has happened to this world is, and people don't want to admit, education is now monetized. It's a business. That's why even right now, if you notice, if you send someone, our kids to ECD or a primary, they're now paying 800 US, 1,000 US for a kid who is actually 3-year-old, 4-year-old. They're paying $1,000 for them to be taught in ECD or in primary. That's why even teachers are no longer beating these kids. How can you beat a customer? So things have changed. You cannot beat money. Because money is very soon money is going to report you to their parents. And what do? They remove money from you. So that's why right now you notice that people can no longer, the education, the way it was set up when we were growing up, it's now very, very different because it has been highly monetized. A lot of private colleges, what they want only it's money. They're no longer worried about the success of the people. That's what is happening. And this is reality. As soon as you know that education has been monetized and it's all about money, they don't care about you attaining a certificate, you can have a change of mindset. You can start even accruing that education through YouTube, through Facebook, through reading books. Like I'm glad this week I read 3 books in 1 week.
That's amazing.
I read 3 books in 1 week. I read the book which is called 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. What a nice book. I read the book by Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. When you're reading those books, I tell you, you start having a shift of the way you think. Read books. You can even educate yourself on your own. It's even cheaper. You'll be even doing a practical whilst you're getting educated. That's the mindset. Shift. The old way, it will never work. No matter how you can insult me, no matter how you might think that your education or your paper which you have is valuable, stick with that. But sooner than later, you're going to realize that. And people have even said, there's no degree which is not important. That's a big lie. You go there, you do tourism and management. And how many tourists... because what you also be doing is they look at your environment. They look doing banking and finance, but banks are actually closing. Banks, because they're technology. Why can't you go and do tech? Because you stand a better chance. Because everything is now IT. But you're doing banking and financing. Whilst they're even cutting numbers in the banks. So what are you doing?
Yeah.
And they are graduating the thousands of you. Whilst the cake is dwindling each and every day, you're shooting yourself under the foot. There are degrees which are actually bad. They're bad. There are very good degrees in terms of titles, but there are degrees when you just handle even the CV, you're like, dude, what is this kind of degree?
Okay, yeah, we need to actually close the show. But just one quick question. Would you advise those who are not getting the jobs who have degrees to actually start self-employment?
What I'm simply saying to them is, if you're not getting a job, it means you don't know anything. Do you have the right skills? When you're not getting a job, the question is, this guy concentrate on getting the job only, whilst they forget to add value on themselves. I've actually interviewed, you notice that this guy passed the counts. They passed the CTA. They even passed with flying colors, 15 points and everything. You ask them a basic question about accounting, double entry, they can't. Why? Because they've said it's for school. But I'm saying, no, why can't you continuously learn? Yes. Don't stop learning. Even if you're not at work, don't stop learning. Also, even volunteer. To say, I can even get into a firm, get some experience. That's the attitude which is needed. But unfortunately, the guys who are coming out of university, they now want $500, $1,000. People don't have money to give someone who wants to learn. Or you want $500, you want $1,000. But when you're asked, you also say, I'm here to learn. Okay, you are here to learn and earn.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is all we had for you. But I actually hope that you're making value out of the degrees that you have. Because some of us have tons of degrees, but they're not bringing in value. Join us again on Ask Jerry, the Chartered Vendor.